Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be another Heart of the Swarm replay. This is again from the replay pack recently released on teamliquid.net. Great shout out, awesome community. Really doing good things for the StarCraft community in general. But this is from Blade 5555. I do believe it is 4 5s, which is kind of confusing. But anyways, this is basically going to be him testing out again versus this is actually TT1's alt account, 6 Spartan. TT1, if you do not know, is a very good player. He is Grandmasters, as both of these players are in Heart of the Swarm, and I do believe Blade is either very high Masters or is also Grandmaster in Wings of Liberty, along with TT1 obviously being extremely talented and is easily Grandmasters in Wings of Liberty. But yeah, we're gonna get into the game and see exactly how the Swarm hosts handle this situation. It is going to be a ZVP, and in the top right spawning position is going to be Blade, the contributor of this replay pack. Seems like a pretty cool guy. And in the bottom left, we are going to have Sick Spartan as our blue Protoss player, also known as TT1. So yes, this should be some very high level play. I'll be interested to see exactly what type of units come out here. If we're going to see Spartan do some sort of Oracle harass, maybe he'll try and use the new Void Rays, maybe he'll go for a proxy DT Shrine, as the DT Shrine actually does cost less now in Heart of the Swarm. Not a lot, but it does allow you to get a little bit more harassment out. And as we can see, Sick Spartan, or TT1, I'll just call him that, it's easier. TT1 going for a Forge Fast Expand, as we can see from this pylon. More than likely going to see a 14 pool out of Blade. Important thing to note, I don't believe that TT1 actually got in here far enough to see this. As we can see, the vision edge was right here, and I do believe you would need to go just a fraction farther to actually see the command structure. But regardless, he'll be okay, as he is playing Zerg, so that's more than likely why he pulled back. He did not see the creep, and now he knows, hey, we got cross positions for our spawn. He is going to just go ahead, lay down this proxy pylon. And I'm not really a huge fan of this. I do believe, as a Protoss player, you should just go for basically the pro block, and if it comes down to it, you can throw down the pylon at the end. But now that the pylon's here, the pool is getting ready to pop. This pylon is just going to instantly be taken down by more than likely 4 Zerglings. We do see interesting choice out of Blade. Believe he is aware that his opposition is cross spawns due to the time that it took for the probe to get there. So he takes this as his third. I would believe that this is typically considered the standard third, although it is extremely wide open. As you can see, it's very hard to defend, whereas this base has ramp, and a Xel'Naga Watchtower for vision. So, could possibly be a pretty good choice. Never really considered it while playing ladder in Heart of the Swarm. We do see a Forge first Fast Expand, followed by a Nexus, followed by a Gateway. Gonna throw down a cannon, chrono boosting out those little probes. And this was in fact cleaned up by the 4 Zerglings. So now the expansion has gone down, still in a very good amount of time, actually before the 420 mark, so that is very nice. It's going to allow him to pretty much not have his economy altered at all. I'd like to see him take these. Yes, he is going to be taking the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Very cool how it builds itself as you take it. Zergling, almost getting sniped off. Cybercore, would like to see the Cybercore maybe placed over here in this region. Obviously it can't be placed that far, so maybe something like this. But just so it's not so exposed and out in the front, it feels very dangerous for me that all of these tech structures are out in the front. You have your Forge, you have your Cyber Core, and by losing those two, you lose any sort of ability to upgrade, and with losing your Cyber Core, you can no longer build sentries, you can no longer build stalkers, and you also have to worry about Warp Gate being sniped off by like early roach aggression. And you can't get +1 upgrades for your weapons, for your air, and that, I believe, will be becoming more popular as we see more games of Heart of the Swarm, as Oracle Harass has become very, very, very strong. They can literally decimate an entire drone line or mineral line extremely quickly. All you need is 2 to 3 of them, and oh lord, your economy is in shambles quickly. +1 on the way. Another gateway. 2 more gas coming down. Or 2, actually the original 2 gas coming down. I will be interested to see if he throws down his 3rd and 4th, and when that is, as he's starting to reach the point where his mineral lines are getting pretty saturated with 7 more drones on the way. He should be pretty well off. As we can see, yeah, he's just going to really need 1 more round. We do see a roach horn coming out. Interesting, so he's probably going to make some roaches for defense first, and then get out his swarm hosts. And as I said, this is a replay pack, just kind of debuting the swarm host, how it handles all sorts of different situations, and whether it be good or bad. Because yes, there are some situations, as I said before, where like if your opponent was going for some sort of crazy, cheesy, huge, we'll say 6 Oracle, all in very, very, very fast, chronoing it out, your Locusts will not be out in time, nor can they shoot up. So your Swarm Hosts are pretty much useless. Great Hallucinated Phoenix. This is, in fact, a new thing in Heart of the Swarm. Hallucination does not have to be researched, so you can just start using it from the beginning as soon as you have one of your sentries and obviously the correct amount of energy. Not quite sure what this sentry is doing here. In fact, he is unfortunately rallied with this Phoenix. Phoenix just going in to figure out what's going on. Spore Crawler's going down, and this is a great idea because Oracles, in fact, can take out a Spore Crawler 1v1. Their DPS is extremely high. Yes, it is limited by energy, but it can kill stuff so quickly. Even missile turrets, if you do not instantly grab your SCVs and start repairing that missile turret, it will fall so quick, and along with that, your SCVs will die in quite a large number. We do see the 3rd base down from Spartan, so this is going to give time for the Infestation Pit to go down, and now I get excited to see how he is going to utilize these Swarm Hosts. I've even wondered if some people have considered things like sneaking some Overlords in back here, dropping Swarm Hosts right here, and then just rallying them into the buildings. As we can see, it would be really hard for a Protoss army to get through here based off of the Sim City. Blink coming down. +2 weapons. Mama Ship, very delayed. Spartan, or TT1, rather, just clearing out the watchtowers. Blade making sure no early aggression is coming. And he is at a very healthy drone count. We do see Enduring Locusts, again, allows them to live for 10 more seconds. That is absolutely huge. 8 Swarm Hosts on the way, and it is important to note that if you're a Zerg player in Heart of the Swarm, do not rely on Swarm Hosts as your main army. They have to have a backbone. They are similar to Infestors in a way that you can't just have a 200 Infestor army and expect to win. Because they have casts and stuff of that nature, it's extremely difficult to pull that off. We do see the Swarm Hosts, though, spitting out quite a few Locusts here. This more than likely will fall, but with the second round of Locusts coming in, they do a great amount of damage, as we can see. 12 damage, and they have a relatively fast attack speed. The Mama Ship is going to be the only thing fairly difficult to deal with it here. And it does look like he's going to lose this entire army, and I am not quite sure that that was worth this push. Yes, he killed a hatchery, but was that really worth the 300 minerals that the Zerg player had invested? Nice mass recall there. As we can see, mass recall has been moved to your Nexus. Yes, it is a feature that is on the mothership core, but you have to basically say mass recall anything around the mothership core, so like this core of units right here, and then you have to target a Nexus that you want to go back to. So it is not quite as easy as in Wings of Liberty, where you can just have your mothership hanging out back in the base and then just sort of target a huge cluster and remove them. Swarm hosts are going to be sieging up the army of TT1. Some long distance mining going here. Zerglings staying back just in case anything's going on. You see a small warping of Zealots, no biggie though. And these Locusts, this is so nice. Yeah, you get a couple kills here and there. He's already killed 4 or 5 Zealots, and those Locusts literally cost him nothing. That is absolutely awesome. He can just send out a wave, move him back, not worry about it. As we can see, the Swarm hosts, and this just kind of lets you keep your Protoss counterpart in check. We see a ton of units going down here, and if you can pick up one of these Immortals, that would make these, nope, does not get them, but that would make that so worth it. Warpin coming down here, nothing that he can't clean up pretty easily. We do see this Warp Prism going up into the main, but he does not have enough gateways to make sure that he is launching a large attack. So he's up on 4 bases. We do see +1 fire attacks now coming down with the Spire. Tons of Locusts being spawned, and I would like to see him try and use a couple more Swarm hosts. Could be cool. These Corruptors are going to take this out very easily, and supposedly Swarm host Corruptor nowadays is an extremely deadly matchup, as you can kill any sort of air units. If you have Overseers, you can spot Observers, and you can kill any sort of Oracle harass that may be utilized along with an Observer to snipe these. And this is kind of a nice tactic here. He just spawns them, uproots, and then goes away. And that's just to make sure, you know, he's kind of forcing the Protoss army to move around. We do see this Nexus going down, so the 4th Nexus is on the way. These couple of Zerglings are going to be trying to pick that off more than likely. Yes, they are going to try and force a cancel here, but with these Archons, Mama Ship, and so many Zealots, it's not going to matter. And now, Colossi out on the field. We do see Ultralisk tech switching, and I've never actually noticed the mouth of the Ultra Cavern opening. That is quite interesting. I'm not sure if that's a new animation in Heart of the Swarm. Warp Prism speed coming down, and now he's going to start sending Warp Prisms everywhere. And this is very nice because Swarm hosts are in fact super slow, but with this many Corruptors out, not sure that he's going to really be able to effectively deal with this. Just need to uproot these Swarm hosts and get them to engage over here. These Corruptors do need to go in and pick off the Colossi, as there are only Archons to deal with this. Ultralisks coming out, and they deal so well with this army. And this is a new tactic that we are going to be seeing a lot of, I have a feeling. Basically TT1 right there. He suicides in, loses a couple units, but no big deal, and kills off a hatchery. Then just mass recalls, and doesn't even have to worry about it. He's already back there. No problemo. I do believe he lost his mothership core, so he will have to rebuild that. But that's really not that big of a deal. It's only 100 minerals, 100 gas. I'm sure he is okay with that. Now this 4th base will be sieged up. And with these Ultras out, chitinous plating as well, +3 armor on the way as well. This is going to start being a very potent force. Void Rays are coming out, but there's so many Corruptors on the field already. And I'm not sure if that's really a good choice. I would like to see things like Stalkers at this point. Or maybe even more Archons to deal with these. As we can see, yes, these Locusts get cleaned up rather quickly, but again, they're free units. You can never complain about having free units. Great Bungle coming down, and tons of Banelings rolling in here, doing so much damage. These Locusts are in fact supporting the Ultralisks. Very cool, awesome little explosion over here of that Stalker. And it does look like Blade is going to start pushing TT1 back extremely hard. These Locusts are coming in now, getting ready to pick off these Immortals. And they're also going to more than likely keep sieging up this base. We do see a handful of Corruptors getting a little bit eager to kill off this Colossi. Would like to see him pull these back, but he may not lose them as there's a ton of Locusts coming. Love the physics engine in this game. You can see the Corruptors just exploding all over the place. Boom! Very, very cool. There's so many different animations based off of whether they're moving, whether they're sitting still, how they're being attacked. Locusts engaging again, so cost effectively. This is basically a worse version of Broodlings on layer tech. So it's like having a bad version of Broodlords early on. We do see War Prisms coming out. He did in fact pick off this base again. Not a terribly big problem as there are 2 more bases over here, and he actually still has minerals at his natural, so he can afford to lose that base, and he does know, in fact, that he is keeping his opponent on a limited number of bases as well. So, what is Blade's next move? That is the question. Looks like he's just going to retreat for now, try and get back up to 200 supply. Very low on gas at the moment. He's going to probably need to take another base to supplement this. We do see a little bit more of War Prism harass, but nothing that a fungal can't handle. Awesome little projectile fungal there. Cool infested Terrans, if I may add. They don't have that silly looking egg shape anymore, which I never really understood, to be honest. I think that this is a much better graphic. We do see a lot of harassment coming in at the 4th again of Blade, and he does not have the mothership this time, so he cannot in fact pull out instantly. What's he gonna do here? He did activate the Prismatic Alignment, which, if you are not aware, is the new Heart of the Swarm Void Ray ability. It basically is similar to the Charge Up, but what it does is it, well, as it states, realigns the Void Ray's prismatic beam to gain +6 damage versus armored units for 20 seconds. This is extremely effective against, well, Ultralisks. And I do believe Swarm Hosts. Yes, Swarm Hosts are, in fact, considered armored. We see another expansion coming out, and it does look like TT1 is privy to this information, so it's going to try come over here and pick this off. This is the problem with Swarm Hosts. They're very immobile, similar to Broodlords. In fact, if they were too fast, they would probably be imbalanced. And you see a ton of damage coming out, and this hatchery is definitely going to fall. Extremely long game coming out here, and nice to see a macro game in Heart of the Swarm finally. Most of them have just been very quick as people are slightly confused with what's going on with the new units. Another expansion coming down up here. Dark Shrine being made. This is great for harassment late game. Storm being researched as well as +2 flyer attacks. And I find it interesting that Blade did in fact forget this +1 range attack, as he has had Locusts literally this entire game. As we can see, a lot of them have quite a few kills. Not a ton, but after it adds up after a while. And just the damage that these Locusts have done constantly is so huge. We do not see any Overseers here, and these Dark Templar are going to be able to do so much damage. Huge engagement coming out here. These Void Rays with their prismatic alignment are doing so much damage to these armored Corruptors as well. And it does look like he's in fact going to tear through this army. The DT already up on 6 kills. Storm more than likely going to be coming down on these poor Swarm Hosts. Yes, we do see it in fact. But it literally didn't even tickle them. It's interesting. I wonder if it was just out of range. Would like to see Envision, I believe it's called. come down. Oh no, they actually, I forgot they moved that to the Oracle. These poor swarm hosts left out to dry. A little bit of harassment coming down here, but as we can see, those poor Zerglings shredded up quite quickly by the DTs. So now Blade's looking like he is in quite a good position. Tons of bases up all over the place. His income, as we can see, is quite substantially higher, especially in the regards to gas, even though he does not have a terrible amount more of miners. And, oh no, is this fight going to get picked off? No, it does not look like it. The Swarm Hope are doing a great job just keeping the army here. It does look like there was a DT, but it was cleaned up, in fact, due to these Overseers. And now he is going to have a huge push out on this new 5th base of TT1 while keeping the army at bay with these swarm hosts. This is such a great multi-pronged attack coming out of Blade. We do see DTs, though, moving across the map. And are they going to be able to pick off this hatchery? It does, in fact, look like no. There is a Spore Crawler here. He gets off a transfuse. No, he does not get off the transfuse. So now these DTs are going to be able to go at this. But a huge engagement coming down here from our Zerg player. GG called by TT1, and that is game. Hope you enjoyed watching this Heart of the Swarm replay. Seems very interesting, the possibilities that these swarm hosts do in fact produce. So we'll see in the future what else is coming out from Blade's replay pack. Stay tuned for another game. I will be casting a 3rd game. I believe it to be a ZVT versus mech. So you'll see how the swarm hosts handle mech, if they are effective or if they are ineffective. But yeah, please feel free to check out my channel. You know, leave any sort of comments, tweet at me, just let me know how I'm doing. Fairly new caster at this, so would love some user feedback. And the SC2 community does not seem to be too shy about leaving their comments, so would love to hear you guys. Just let me know. Even if you think it's terrible, that's fine. Just let me know what I can improve upon. Always up for some constructive criticism. Thank you for watching, and get ready for another game.